and welcome here to more TALKFCB, and welcome back to the channel, guys. We are going to be discussing once again here, late into the night. It is approaching right now, 2 a.m. Spanish time. Florentino Perez has just finished speaking about his plans for the Super League. We are going to be discussing all of those plans and exactly what he had to say in detail, where he spoke there about different rule changes to the game. He spoke about a salary cap, and he was asked, of course, whether there is any chance at all that we could go back on these plans. There is so much to discuss in the most controversial move that football has ever seen. So, let's get to it. Because Florentino there sat down with El Chinguito in Spain live on TV, and like I say, late into the night here, he kicked off by saying many important clubs in Spain, in Italy, and in the UK want to find a solution to a very bad financial situation. He said the only way to do that is to play more competitive games. He said instead of playing in the Champions League, the Super League helps the clubs to recover lost earnings. And indeed here, Florentino Perez repeatedly mentioned the impact of the pandemic. He said here at Real Madrid, we've lost a lot of money. He said we alone lost 400 million this season. He said nothing was being done about that. He said we're all going through a very bad situation when there's no profit. The only way is to play more games during the week. The Super League will save clubs financially. Florentino said, when you have no income other than broadcasting rights, the solution is to offer more attractive matches that allow fans from all around the world to watch the big teams playing against each other. He said more competitive games, more revenue the club then will generate. That's how we'll survive this situation. The Super League is the solution. And this is when it really did start to get quite interesting there. He said football must evolve, which, I can agree with. Change is not always a bad thing. He said 40% of young people aren't interested in football because there's too many games of low quality. He said 16 to 24-year-olds aren't interested in football. That's news to me. He said we had to adapt. He said we had to change something to make this sport more attractive on a global level. And this is the problem right now. And one of the biggest problems I have with the Super League, it's kind of as though they're acting as though we asked for this, as though we wanted this. We, as the young people, myself there, I'm in that category, but I think we all on the channel here, we didn't want this. We were never asking or demanding for this sort of tournament here to keep us engaged. We were already engaged with our club. He said this will be better for all clubs, not just the elite. He said all that I do is for the good of football. He said the Super League is not a closed league. He said that's false. He said it's an open league. He said 5 teams can qualify. Any good team can reach it, regardless of their name. But I think he's missed the point there. It's a closed league for the founding members. If those founding members, the likes of Arsenal and Tottenham, even if they're terrible in the Super League, they will never get relegated. That's the very definition of a closed league for those founding members. And again then, Florentino, I'm not really sure what planet he's on. He said the Super League is like the Champions League. He said we have 15 teams, we have another 5 teams there who will qualify. He said it will not be a closed league. 5 teams will earn their place every season. Florentino, what about those founding members? What about the competitiveness there within that league? Because there's no concern there that their position in the league will ever be under threat. Florentino went on to say the new Champions League format, he was very, very critical there of UEFA. He said that will not save football. He said, I don't understand it. He said it won't help anything. He said if you win the Champions League, you receive 120 to 130 million from UEFA. He said, but with the Super League, we will earn much, much more. Florentino went on there to assure his players in the Super League that don't worry, they have it under control. He said, we want to save football for the next 20 years. He said the Super League will do exactly that. I came in the year 2000 to save Real Madrid, and I did. I saved the club. He said our players will not be banned from the World Cup. He said, I guarantee that. They can be 100% certain. He said, with all due respect, we want to save football. He said, we have to make it so that in the next 20 years, no club loses 200 million in one season. He said the situation is tragic. They, talking about UEFA, he said they believe that we're their property and we can do whatever they want. And for that, They are wrong. And this is the thing right now, because there are many things indeed about the Super League that I do not like. There's many different aspects of it that just go against everything really that football stands for. But the one thing that I can agree with here, in terms of Florentino Perez, is when he's hitting out at UEFA and at FIFA, saying there that they want to have this monopoly, that they want to control the clubs, and that they're keeping such a big amount, and they're not transparent about the figures they keep there from the Champions League. So I can understand there shots being fired at UEFA. I've said all along that they are not innocent in all of this. Florentino said, UEFA's monopoly, it is over. It is time for a new era. He said they can't kick us out from this year's Champions League, and they can't kick us out from domestic leagues. It is totally impossible. And right now reports from Spain say that La Liga will not exclude Barca, Real Madrid, or Atletico. Florentino then hit back at those who are saying that the league is only for the rich. He said, no, this is a league that will save football. He said, without the Super League, football will die before 2024. He said, big and small clubs will die. We want to save football. We want to give solidarity to small teams. But how will that happen? In this entire interview there wasn't one real instance, there wasn't anything really concrete about how these big elite clubs who've got their place secured in this Super League, how will they help the rest of those teams that aren't? And this is a big one here for me with Florentino Perez. He was asked there whether people will lose interest in the Super League quite quickly, because maybe there it could become quite repetitive in terms of these same games. And Florentino said no, because all of the games will be between big clubs. And that is interesting for me, because that's exactly the problem. In my mind right now, it's the fact that all of the games will be those big ones. And how many times do you have to play a team before suddenly, anymore, it's not that special? There is a saying, isn't there, that you can have too much of a good thing, and that would certainly be my concern every single week. If you had these games on, when would that novelty, when would that wear off? That was something there that I would bear in mind. Florentino even went on to say, we might have to make football matches shorter. He said if it's not interesting, maybe that's something there that we will consider. And we said maybe we might even bring in, eventually, a second division of the Super League. I mean, this is unbelievable. He then went into some specifics in terms of what the Super League will bring in terms of refereeing. He said, I confirm that VAR will be present in the Super League. He said, we plan to improve the referees. They will be the world's best refs. And he said there will be financial fair play rules. He said, we are making the future of football. We owe it to the fans to improve football for them. And it was interesting that he went on to say there will be a salary cap in the Super League that will stand there at 55% of revenue. He said we had to lower our salaries this season. And he said, I have a feeling that UEFA did not. He said, I know how much LeBron James earns, but I don't know how much the UEFA president earns because there's no transparency. And again, there was definite shots fired there from Florentino and the lack of transparency at UEFA and what they are doing right now. But of course, the big quote in terms of us Barcelona fans was when Florentino Perez decided to bring up Joan Laporta's name, and he did mention him several times here in this interview. He said, Barcelona, I didn't have to convince Laporta because he understands and accepted the idea that the Super League will help Barcelona. They are in a very bad moment financially, and tomorrow, Laporta will address us fans, and that is going to be a big moment for him. He's going to have to stand up, he's going to have to explain whatever decisions were taking place, whether it was him indeed that signed off on the Super League, or whether it was Bartomeu, who did of course come out before he resigned, speaking there about the fact that we were going to join a Super League. So that is going to be a big day tomorrow in Barcelona. And Florentino said, we want to be the owners, we want to decide our own destiny. I am working with the clubs, he said again, to save football. If UEFA don't want to come to an agreement, we won't back down, because we need the Super League. Before finally, of course there's questions right now about whether teams can back out, whether the backlash here from the fans could force some of the clubs to say, you know what, we are going to reconsider. But Florentino Perez, he thinks there's no chance at all of that. He said, we've been working on this project for a very long time. He said, many years we've been working on this. He said, all the clubs signed for the Super League on Saturday. He said, everything is agreed. The contract is binding. Nobody will leave. And honestly, guys, I just find once again myself saying right here, this is absolutely unbelievable to me that we've actually found our way here, that suddenly now we are talking about a breakaway league. It is a closed league, no matter what Florentino Perez says there. When you've got founding members who can never be relegated, when they're always going to be there week in, week out, playing those teams, it is a closed league. Yes, you can have qualifiers and all of that stuff, but I think there are definite concerns here, clear concerns from us fans about the Super League. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. As we go on, we're learning more and more information. There will be some good points maybe. There's going to be some bad points undoubtedly along the way. We'll have to wait and see exactly where we end up. But like I say, tomorrow, that is a big, big moment for our club. We want to hear from our president, Laporta. He's going to have to address us, and it is going to be big words from him. I will keep you updated on all of that stuff. Thanks for tuning in here, guys. And I hope right now you are doing well, even though there is so much uncertainty. I'll see you tomorrow, bright and early. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.